how are you? Today we're going to talk about a very sensitive topic, I would say, and so that is depression in the diaspora, mental health in the diaspora. And so these are some of the things that those of you who are back home don't really understand. So if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about this topic, then stay tuned, okay? So I'm Connie, Kenneth. So if you're here for the first time, so welcome so very much. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see, genuine, nice videos. And yeah. So if you have been supporting me, thank you so much. And yeah, guys, I don't take that for granted because, you're giving me your time. So that is really, really nice. So let's dive into this topic. And so this is something that is very serious. This is something that people back home should know. And I would like to talk about it because it's a reality. It's a sad reality. Depression is real. Mental health is real. And I know some of you will not understand or don't see where I'm coming from. But, when you go away to the diaspora, people take it as, wow, she's a akomaju, life is good, and so on. But the reality sometimes can be different. I'm not saying it's the same thing for everybody, but I'm talking about the majority of us out here have the tendency to be, to have some mental health and depression. First of all, because there's a lot of pressure. So pressure being in a foreign country, where you want to, you're trying to make ends meet, you're trying your level best to, if you have a family, to make sure your family is doing great. And you as a foreigner, sometimes you don't have like equal opportunities compared to, someone who is born in that country, a native, And so that pressure, from the society, from the country where you're in, also pressure for, from the family, because if you're the sole breadwinner in your family, then it can be very stressful because, if, for example, I earn, let's say 2,000 euros. So 2,000 euros, that's a lot of money. So that is like 200,000 Kenya shillings. So I'm talking in shillings because I'm from Kenya, by the way, if you don't know. So that looks like a whole lot of money. And I promise, I will come back and, break it down for you, the expenses and stuff like that when you're living in the diaspora and if you're planning to come to the diaspora. But you also have to be prepared to know that you must be very strong-minded because, first of all, you leave your whole family, your siblings, your parents, your cousins, your friends, your best friend. You leave everybody and you go to a place where you are alone. And when I say alone, you might be surrounded by, colleagues, you might be surrounded, you may make friends, but it's not the same because your family is not next to you. And so that's where depression can kick in, and it starts with mental health because you feel abandoned in a way, Some of you will say, oh, but it was your decision. Yes, it is, because so in the first place, it's your life, so you're trying to do what's best for you. But it's always easy to overcome situations. It's always easy to overcome situations when you're surrounded by people who love you. So if you're going through something, if you're going through a mental breakdown or a burnout, and then you go back home, your parents are there for you, you can call them, or they're just like 20 minutes away, then I think it's different. It can help you a whole lot And so that's where the problem is in diaspora. Like, you are alone. You handle things alone. And worse still, if you don't really hear from your family, like they never call you, they never text you. And that's when you also hear, I remember back in the days where you would hear, oh, alienda maju, sasa anaringa, atia pigangi simu. I mean, she doesn't call, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that. But you know, when it comes a point where when you're the only person who's always reaching out to people, at some point you get fed up. At some point you realize that when you stop contacting people, when you stop calling people back home, then nobody will call you back. Nobody will send you a message unless, you know, and sometimes, and I've talked to so many people, they tell me this, unless if they want something from you, that's when they remember you. And that's where the depression comes in, the anxieties come in, the mental health comes in. You know, it's terrible. It's really terrible. So if you have someone in the diaspora and you haven't heard from them in a long time, reach out to them. You know, in the diaspora, it's not like you can go to your neighbors. Sometimes we don't even know our neighbors. Sometimes you don't even know the person next door. You know, like you will just meet probably you know, when you're going up the stairs or in the elevator, but you do not know your neighbors. You don't, like, you know, sometimes, and that's when you hear, and it's a fact, people can die in their homes and they stay and nobody realizes it. Nobody does, you know. Some people have been found 1 year after they're dead, 5 months after they're dead. And when you have somebody in the diaspora and you haven't heard from them, you should be worried. You should be worried. So first of all, that means that person is tired of all the nonsense going on, of people telling them that, you know, they're feeling good, or you don't realize our struggles and stuff like that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that, because that's why they're going quiet on you. That's why they stop communicating. But because, I mean, it should be a two-way thing. Not always the same person calling you, not always the same person trying to know how you're doing. And then when they stop doing that, you realize, oh my goodness, this was just like a one-way thing, like nobody cares. And you know, when you're going through the mental health situation, it can be really bad, because at some point you really feel like nobody cares, because if you don't contact them, they will not contact you. As simple as that. So people out here are depressed. People are going to mental health centers. Some people that I know, people are just doing, like, they just turn sometimes to alcohol. Some go to mental health centers. Others are homeless. Others are so ashamed of saying, I can't send you this, I can't send you money, I can't do that they work, and yet they work two jobs, 3 jobs, and yet they can't send you that because they're struggling. So when you hear being mad at them because they didn't send you this, they didn't send you that, and then you start lying, I need money because I'm unwell. Of course, when you hear your family member or your friend is unwell, the first thing you do, like, oh my God, it's okay, let me not eat today and let me send. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's how it is. To some people, that's how it is. I remember back in the days, and I'm talking about maybe 10 years ago, there was this girl, she didn't want to go home. She didn't want to go home because she knew that when she went home, she had so much pressure because she had to do so much for everybody, and she was the only one who was taking care of everybody, and so it's a lot of pressure on people, which results into them going into depression. And some of us here are dying of depression, of the stress. Already the daily life is a whole struggle, and you're out there being mad at your sister, at your brother, at your cousin, at your parents, because they're not, they're not sending you money, or they're not talking to you anymore. Just ask yourself the right questions. Ask yourself the right questions, because this thing is it's terrible when you feel that your support system, who is supposed to be your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your family, when you feel they're not there for you, and they don't love you, and they're out there judging you because of this and that, then it's terrible. So I think the foundations have to be real, have to be sincere. You really need to just look at things from their perspective. Just put yourself in their shoes and just try and understand what they're going through, away from the family. If there's a problem at work, they can't talk to you because you're not there for them. If there's a problem, in their family, there's nothing that they can't tell you, because you will not understand. And first of all, you're not even talking to them, so there's no way you can confide in somebody who is not there for you, and who is actually even mad at you because you didn't send them 5,000 Kenyan shillings, or like 50 euros, so it's ridiculous. And I think that people should stop doing that, because when you're away from your family, from your friends, it's difficult. So you should actually be there for them. So I want to ask you one question. When was the last time you talked to your family? When do you call them? When do you send them just a message to say, hi, how are you? When was the last time you asked your relative in the diaspora how they're doing? Okay, so it's just those simple things that make people here go crazy. People are lonely. Even though you're working, people are lonely and they miss home, but they also need to feel that they're loved, and that's all that we need to know. So guys, thank you so much for watching me. But please make sure you look out for people who love you. Make sure you tell them that you love them when they're in the diaspora, because they really need it. So yeah. So until next time, guys, it's your girl Connie, and bye.